I have you here for at least the next 35 to 40 minutes. Oh my goodness, we are live. We are live with Brent Gove, man. This is freaking awesome, brother. We had a few technological issues, but we have overcome those. And now I have you here for at least the next 35 to 40 minutes, man. How are you?
I'm awesome, man. I'm awesome, Mike.
That is good. It is good. I know, we talked a little bit before this, and I know you're working on very little sleep, and you're having your cup of coffee. So it's really kind of like a morning for you, so to speak.
It is. We got in at 3:15 a.m. this morning from Dallas. Had engine trouble.
Holy cow, man! You must have been flying Allegiant.
Yeah. It was American Airlines, man.
Was it really?
It was, but I'd rather they found the engine problem on the ground than in the air. So we just had to find a new plane, all that. But I'm here. I'm ready to go.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I usually start the show out just by asking a little bit about your real estate background, just to kind of provide some context for the audience. So how long have you been crushing it in real estate?
22 years. Spent my first 12 years at Remax, loved it. And then in 2009, went to Keller Williams and spent 8 years at Keller Williams as a team leader. And then went back into private practice like most do eventually. And loved Keller Williams, and then found EXP about 23 months ago. And it has been life-changing.
That is awesome, man. And what is in terms of production or volume, what does your team look like for 2017, or what was the production for you guys?
So I came to EXP with 18 agents. I had 12 buyer specialists and 6 listing specialists, and that's why you look healthy. You're drinking water, drinking coffee. I got to work on that. But basically, so I had my 18 agents. Today I have 23 agents. I've turned down probably 15. People just flock to you at EXP. It's crazy. But I have 23 agents, and I've turned down great agents because that's not my focus anymore. And I have 17 buyer specialists. I have the same 6 listing specialists. And things have gone so well at EXP. It's crazy. We'll probably do 128 million this year in sales. But I'm more excited about expanding EXP, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. So that's what we're doing and loving it.
That's awesome, man. I'm still a little shell-shocked that I even have you on today. A little nervous, but I think it'll make me a better interviewer today. But I wrote in the when I was writing the marketing for this, I wrote The Godfather, just because I think everybody looks up to you, just especially from a revenue share perspective. I think everybody wishes they would have found it when you found it, and obviously have built what you built. But I definitely want to dig into that a little bit today. So you've been over, you said, for 23 months now. Talk a little bit about when you first found out about EXP. How did that go?
I mean, you talk about, hey, I wish I found it when Brent found it. When I found it, the stock plummeted for 6 months. It was terrible. It was an OTC stock, over-the-counter stock. People made fun of us, and rightly so. And they're like, well, you're not on anything respectable like the NASDAQ. I'm like, I know. And so today, you guys get to say, hey, we're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. The stock's been growing. When I got in, the stock was like $3.70 a share. It had been like 80 cents a share. We're like, look at that growth. And last I looked yesterday, it was trading over $18 a share. My agents have all developed so much wealth through the stock. I have too. But when we got started, it was just like I had to turn the MLS on. Some agents are funny, like, well, nobody in my town's doing EXP, and they're all stressed about it. For me, I'm like, nobody in my town's doing EXP, and I'm all excited about it, because it's an opportunity to bring a company to market. And, there's 15,000 of us or so right now as of September, the end of September 2018. There are 2 million agents in North America. We have less than half of 1% market penetration, maybe a quarter of 1%. I don't even know what the numbers are, but we've just scratched the scratch on the service. We're just warming up. We're going to have a couple 100,000, so there's nobody too late. We are so much better today than we were a year and a half ago when I got started.
So talk a little bit, you said something that kind of stood out to me, because when you got in, it wasn't anything like what it is even today. And it's probably not like anything it's going to be in 6 to 12 months from now. But talk a little bit about when you said, that we were being traded as an over-the-counter stock, and we were, I don't want to say a laughing stock, but we were still really kind of an unheard of company. When you moved over, did you ever second guess moving over to EXP?
For the first week, I was pretty nervous, leaving your brokerage. I remember I went and played golf with my pastor 2 days after watching the EXP webinar. And 3 days prior to that, I never even heard the letters EXP. Then I watched the webinar as a favor to a friend. They wanted my opinion. They'd heard me speak at a Haas Pratt seminar in Dallas, told me how impressed they were with me, and said, would you give us your opinion? I said, sure, the great one will give you his opinion. Ha ha. They flattered me. I'm like, yes, I know you're impressed with me. So I would do anything for him at that point. How funny. But I watched the webinar knowing one thing, that I would not be interested in a silly little company with 3 ridiculous little letters, EXP. By the way, IBM, HP, KW, NEC. I mean, everybody drops the letters sooner or later, right? Yeah. But now EXP are my 3 favorite letters in the world. But here's the deal. I've lost my train of thought with that one. But, I knew I wouldn't be interested. There we go. I'm back. Yeah. More coffee. Anyway, so... I watched the webinar and I was totally interested. So I'm golfing with my pastor 2 days later. I explained it to him about the stock and the revenue share and everything. And he's like, well, what do you think? You're going to do it? And I'm like, I don't know. And he says, well, do you think I should do it? He's like, well, why wouldn't you do it? I'm like, well, I don't know. I like my broker. I have friends at the office. And by the way, I didn't lose any of my friends. I have all my friends. They're your friends whether you go to Remax, Coldwell, or Keller Williams. And if you work at Coldwell Banker and you go to Remax and they're not your friend anymore, I would like to challenge the notion that they were ever your friend. They were an acquaintance. Your friend is a friend when you're going through hard times in your marriage. If you switch your broker, they're going to love you. They're your friends. So don't think I'm going to lose all my friends. I'll never see them again. But the first week was a little nerve-wracking. By the second week, I would drive by my old office and literally have empathy. I literally felt sorry for everybody inside that building. A lot of people were like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? Well, because the OP had his attorney send me a letter saying, if you talk to anyone in this building, I will sue you so far up the river, it's not even funny. Basically said, I'm sorry, but you're going to be in big trouble. And so I went, oops, I'm not going to talk to anybody in that building. So I used to be a team leader. I was an employee of that particular franchise. And rather than fight it, I just moved on. I didn't need to go talk to agents in my old building, and I did well. I wanted to share it with them, but I didn't want to get myself in a costly legal battle, so I passed. But I literally felt sorry for the agents trapped in that building. I didn't realize how oppressive it was until I left. I thought it was great. Culture's great. Once I left, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was actually oppressive is how I would describe it. And which is weird, but you don't know until you're free.
Right. So yeah, and we came over from KW too. Obviously, that was something that you and I share in common. Can you hear me? Is my audio okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. So obviously, that was kind of a big decision for us too, and we were treated, I guess, in a similar fashion. Probably not to the extent of what you were, but I guess, I want talk a little bit about like when you found out about EXP and you decided to move over, like you decided, okay, hey, I'm doing it. How did you approach like your group, your team?
Well, it's great. First thing it is, I went to the annual convention as a Keller Williams agent to actually disprove EXP. I went there to break EXP because I was very happy at Keller Williams, doing my $100 million a year, rolling into the office at 10 or 11, leaving at 3 or 4, not working on the weekends, golfing every Friday morning. I mean, we'd go to lunch and then go putting for 2 hours. We were bored. That's how we had our systems in place. We were bored. We weren't changing anybody's life. We weren't changing our life. We were just making a living. And so I went to the annual convention in San Antonio the following week. Now, everybody watching this webinar, our EXP's annual convention is October 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 weeks from now, just under 4 weeks. Get a ticket, go. I went there to break EXP. I go, if there's a fly in the ointment, let's find it. If this thing's not going to pass the mustard test, let's find it. We interrogated 100. I'd find guys like you and pull you off to the side and go, man, do they really pay you? Do you get paid on time? Have they ever bounced a commission check? I go, seriously, please tell me the truth. I got a huge team. We're happy. I don't need EXP, but I'm attracted to it because I don't get any stock at my old company. They don't share the revenue. I'm not an owner. I get some profit sharing, but you know what that is in me. I mean, it's, people been around 25, 30 years. It's pretty good, but for most people it wasn't. And so they're like, no, I get paid every time. Like, you get stock? Yeah, I get my stock every time. Do they bounce revenue share checks? No. Do they pay you late? No. And after interrogating 100 people, we moved the following week to EXP. And the way I approached it with my team is I broke them up into my stars, and then kind of the middle of the road players, and then the ones who sell a handful of homes. We're like a big family. We love everybody. We value the agent who sells 3-4 homes a year and the one who does 25 to 35 homes a year. We value them all. They're great. But I did sit down with my star performers first, and I showed them the webinar one at a time, answered their questions. I had 6 of those. Then I had 5 kind of middle of the road performers. And then I had about 7 performers that were honestly selling 2, 3, 4, 5 homes a year. And I know everyone says, oh, fire those people. Now they're like my grandma. I love these people, some of these people. Right. So I run on my team like a family, but I basically won over all 18, and they all came to EXP. One thing I will tell you is 3 of my stars are like, man, what are you doing? We love Keller. Well, they hadn't been to the annual convention. They hadn't done all the research I had done. I'm like, and they weren't excited about leaving. We bleed red. We love Keller, right? I'm like, look, have I ever done you wrong? No. Have I ever not kept my word? No. Have I ever let you down? No. Have I bent over backwards to help you every step of the way in your career? Yes. Have I said, look, I'm flat asking you to trust me. Come to EXP for 6 months. What have you got to lose? Keller's not going anywhere. If it's not amazing, like I'm saying, you go back to Keller Williams. You're not investing $50,000 or $100,000. Try it with me. Will you trust me and try it with me? They all said yes. They're all with me today. And one of them that was concerned the most, she has over $100,000 worth of stock at EXP today. She's like, oh my gosh, I love it. She's bringing people. And, she's selling real estate 95% of the time. But people ask her, oh, you're with EXP. Tell me about it. And she does. And that's growing organically. But she is doing real estate 90. That's what everybody does. Like, a bunch of recruiters. 80 to 90% of our agents just sell real estate. I wish they would recruit. I wish they do what you're doing and what I'm doing. And let's replace that word with building. Coldwell Banker built a company. David Lineker built a company with Remax. Gary Keller built a company. They love real estate and they'll train, but they are more passionate about building a company because that's where it's at. Otherwise, you're just on a big fat treadmill. And some treadmills are 10 sales a year. Some are 100. Some are 500 sales a year. They're all treadmills. Rinse, wash, and repeat. You better do it every year. I hope you like it. And fortunately I did, but there's something better, right, Mike?
Absolutely. My friend. The great thing about it is I just hear the passion in your voice, which is really cool, man.
I'm on my 2nd cup here. Go Texas. There, I just got back from Texas last night.
So that's where you came in town from?
Yeah, I was in Austin and Gove with Gene Frederick and having a little leadership meeting. We flew to Texas. Playing trouble in Dallas.
Nice. How was that?
That was a blast. A couple hundred. Always good.
And so you're in California for a couple hours and then you're off to Tahoe, huh?
Yes. 27th wedding anniversary today. I got permission from my wife to work till 2:00. We got 17 more minutes.
Nice.
And we're off to go play, and it's awesome. 27 years today.
Well, congratulations, man, and definitely we'll get you off in time. Let's start really digging in because I know a lot of people are tuning in because of of what you've done from a revenue share perspective, and obviously you've done great as a real estate agent. And I think it was just a natural evolution for you. And it was probably something like what I felt because, you talked about the monotony of selling real estate, even at a high level, right? I mean, you come in the office at 10, you leave at 3, you're playing golf. It's just, you do that over and over and over again, and you can make a ton of money. But what happens is you lose your purpose. You know what I mean? You don't have purpose anymore. And so I'm just going to assume that when you found out about EXP, and you got involved, that you regained purpose. In other words, you had something new that excited you when you got out of bed every day.
Absolutely. Like, here's the deal. Everybody watching this webinar, Without EXP, your world, your oyster is Bozeman, Montana, Seattle, Portland, Dallas. For me, it was Sacramento. I didn't care what happened in Canada. I mean, I don't want bad things for the Canadian, but what did the Canadian housing market, how did that impact me here in Sacramento, California, Northern California? I didn't care what's happening in Beverly Hills or La Jolla or San Diego, Southern California. I sold real estate in Sacramento. That was my world. And specifically suburbs called Roseville, Rockland, Granite Bay, Loomis, Newcastle, Lincoln. That was kind of my hub, right? 400,000 people where I sold real estate. Now, because I shared EXP with friends I have around the country, mostly right here in Sacramento, by the way, I think I've shared it with 66 people, some record feat. And guess what? 4 of them were in other states. That was it. Dallas, Tucson, I think Las Vegas and Reno. And here's the bottom line. Today we're in 43 states and 200 major markets in 3 provinces of Canada. And when we open in Mexico and Central America, South America, my business will be there. When we open in the UK and Australia and New Zealand and the Philippines and Manila, I'm going to be there. Spain, Italy, France. This is a global marketing opportunity. Coldwell Banker and Remax have covered the global opportunity for the franchise owners and the regional owners. What does it mean to a Remax and a Coldwell Banker agent that Remax and Coldwell are in Italy or France? Well, we can do referrals. Really? How many referrals are you doing from Italy or France? Come on, that's just silly. So unless you're in Manhattan and you're dealing with the ultra rich, that is a 1%, a quarter of 1%. So with EXP, as you tell people in, I don't know, Austin, Texas, or Dayton, Florida, or Melbourne, Florida, or where are you? What state are you from again?
I'm in Ohio, brother. I'm in the Cincinnati, Dayton area.
You look like Florida. You got a nice tan there, man. But
you see me keep adjusting my camera, like the sun's really like pouring in. Like it's literally been cloudy and rainy here for 5 days, and finally the sun comes out. Now I've got these huge shadows all over me, and I'm burning up. I'm probably burning red because I'm hot.
I've been watching. You get that cool baseball shirt. Anyway, but the deal is that was your world. Do you agree that was your world? It really didn't matter what was happening in Washington or Oregon or California. Your world was Ohio pretty much. I know you have an expansion team, right?
Yeah. We're in both markets now in Cincinnati and Dayton, and am actively pursuing a license down in Florida. So we'll open up down there at some point. But listen, that's not even for me, it's like, I can kind of pump the brakes on that now because, to open up an expansion operation in another marketplace, it takes a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources, right? And with EXP, now I can just share my story down into the Florida market and try and change agents' lives down there and actually generate a revenue share group with just agents who were helping out to build a business down in a different marketplace. And I don't necessarily have to take on the liability that comes with an expansion team.
Oh, yeah. Like I called my friend Cliff Freeman, who's a coach, who calls his past student in Ohio, I think he's in Cleveland, Al Stasik.
Yeah, Al's been on the show.
Yeah. And then Al calls his best buddy, Jay Kinder, and gets him in a headlock and says, you're going to look at EXP. You don't have to do it, but you're going to look. Quit listening to all the propaganda and all the stuff that's being said by other companies and actually see why the who's who of real estate companies, everybody's flocking to our company. And so Jay Kinder, look, he's in. I called my friend Jeff Williams in Tucson, Jeff and Marcy, 600 sales a year. 1 month later, they're in. In 1 month, I added 600 sales to my business. No marketing dollars, a phone call. How do you support and train all those people? Really? Like if I had sponsored you, do I need to teach you how to do real estate? Did I need to teach Jeff Williams or Al Stasik or Jay Kinder how to do real estate? And it just went boom. I'll give you an example. There are huge celebrated expansion teams in America that have 150, 200 agents. That's a big expansion team. Yes or no?
Very big.
I only had 23 months ago. I was like not even on the radar of big expansion teams, right? Today, I have 3,500. They still have their 100, 150. Maybe they grew to 200, woohoo, and they still have massive overhead. They're trying to keep their agents together. I added 30 agents yesterday in a day.
What?
In a day. I've been adding 400 a month, no problem. It's like entire mega huge Keller Williams market centers. I add those every month for breakfast. And we'll be at 5,000 agents and brokers by the end of the year. And then next year it'll be 15,000 and 30 and 50. There's 25 million agents and brokers worldwide. There's 203 countries. There's going to be 2 million EXP agents and brokers worldwide. I mean, you guys haven't seen nothing yet. We're the only company arming our agents with ownership. A rising tide rises all ships, not just David Liniger. He became a billionaire at RE/MAX. Nobody else. Well, how many millionaires? Not many, by the way. Gary Keller's stated goal, I've heard, is to be a billionaire, and I think he's already done it. That's great. My stated goal is to help people develop passive incomes of 100, 2, 3, 4, 500,000 a year, maybe become millionaires. But I'm focusing on others. You help enough people get what they want, you get what you want. Zig Ziglar. EXP is the epitome of that model. So for people watching, I'm begging you, watch a webinar that you get here from my good friend, Mike Wall. Reach out to a friend of yours, a really close friend, and say, okay, I've heard enough. Fine. Show me the webinar. Show me behind the veil. Quit listening to your manager at RE/MAX, your manager at Coldwell Banker, the owner of your Keller Williams or Berkshire Hathaway. Of course they are opposed to this. They're going to tell you every reason why you shouldn't do it. They're freaked out. We want good things for them. Our model is our model, okay? But they're telling you every reason why you shouldn't. They're not going to go, that is so great, Mike, you found EXP. They're such a better company than we are. I mean, that's crazy. They're not going to do that. So don't be surprised. But if you want to know the truth, watch a webinar, 28 minutes long. Then you go, oh, I'll get it, and you will join. People says, well, I don't know. I go, did you watch the webinar? No. I'm like, well, that explains everything, because if you watch the webinar, you would know. So until you watch, well, I already know. No, you don't know anything. If you haven't seen the webinar, you don't know. And you heard what people wanted you to hear. Stop listening to propaganda and watch the webinar and learn about the company. Amen. I'm not
Amen, brother. Okay, so you've got like 3,500 people in your rev share group, and then you've got agents who are looking at EXP. They have no agents in their rev share group, and they're looking at you and they're like, oh, I could never do that. You know what I mean? I could never do that. But what do you say to that person who's really maybe considering moving or leaving their current brokerage and coming to EXP, but they just don't think they could have the same impact as you?
Here's what they say. Well, I'm not a recruiter, because the management team will listen. Look, you're not a recruiter. This is about real estate. EXP is a real estate company. We are 100% about real estate. I sell hundreds of homes a year with my team. How about you? You guys are cranking it too, right?
Yep.
We are all about real estate. But they'll say, yeah, and then the agents, yeah, you're right. I'm not a recruiter. I work with buyers and sellers. You know, most agents come in and work with buyers and they go, dang, I wish I was a listing agent. And then until they become passionate and upset enough and have a desire to learn how to become a listing agent and to learn what it's like to have 18 to 30 to 50 to 100 listings at one time, and to break into that. We don't work with buyers anymore. That's why I have 17 buyers agents. They take time. It's rewarding. It's fun. It's great. But they pull you away from your son's little league game, your daughter's softball or soccer game. They pull you away because they want to see the home right now. And so you got to get away from buyers. So you learn how to be a listing agent and get rid of the word recruiting. We're building a company. Your broker of your franchise is building his franchise. He's recruiting agents or building a company. So you can take the ugly word recruiting and replace it with a beautiful word called building. And Mike works for you. I work for you. I didn't even really know Mike. Mike, you and I didn't know each other prior to this call, right?
Nope.
You called me up this week and said, will you be on my podcast or whatever we're doing? Is this Facebook Live?
Yep.
Hey, everybody, Facebook. So, I couldn't even find the codes to get into Facebook. I got 5,000 friends, but anyways.
And Brent, the funny thing is, we probably would have never known each other if it wasn't for EXP.
Dude, and I just met you, and you and I are I love you, man. You're like a kindred spirit, dude. I love you. And it's guys like you and I linking up all over the U.S. and Canada as we grow internationally. It's crazy fun. So anybody watching this, watch the webinar, come to New Orleans. Come to our annual convention, October 22nd. Don't wait another year. Come come tear us apart, poke holes in it, find the fly in the ointment, because you're missing the opportunity of a lifetime. What other questions do you have? I know I jump around.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you talked about, growing your rev share group out to 5,000. Maybe give us a couple, like, for agents who, I love the show because organically what's happened is the fact that, we were trying to get the word out about EXP to agents who hadn't heard about it or were curious about it. But what's happened organically is we've drawn a nice EXP following. And so I want to be able to really kind of lay out some good, business building or revenue share building opportunities or strategies for them, because, again, you're kind of the king of that. You and Flick and a couple other guys are, at kind of the top of the food chain. But tell us a little bit about, like, where to start. Like, if you're one of these guys that has already moved over to EXP, maybe they have 3 or 4 people and they're just, they really want to get it going. Like, what are you suggesting those people do?
I actually spoke on this subject yesterday morning in Austin at the Lost Pines Resort Hyatt Regency. Is a beautiful place, but this was my topic. And so what I told people to do is, first of all, why are you doing what you're doing? What's your purpose? What do you want to do here? Well, I'd like to make $100,000 a year passive income through rev share. It'd be like for our KW friends, that'd be like $100,000 in profit share. I'm like, okay. And I put that in place like within 3 months when I joined. It's kind of unique. And then and I'd eventually like to make $300,000 a year or $500,000 a year, or whatever your goals are. Okay, so begin with the end in mind. What is it you want to do? And then number 2, make a list of names. Make a list of 100 people you're going to share this with. You can go. I came back from that event and shared EXP with 40 agents that I knew. And 27 of them, yep, there you go, the well chart. 27 of them signed up, but I didn't call strangers, and I called people I knew well. And they're like, well, Jeff Willems goes, dude, I'm not leaving RE/MAX. We've owned our franchise for a decade. I go, hey, I'm not asking you to leave RE/MAX. I'm thinking about leaving Keller Williams. Tell me why I shouldn't. He goes, oh, you want me to tear it to shreds? I go, yeah. He goes, poke holes in it? I go, yeah. I go, do it. He goes, done. He looks at it, he goes, are you kidding me? Is this real? I'm like, check it out. And then today, Jeff has 800 agents and brokers in his business. He'll have 8,000 in just a couple of years. We're half of 1% built out. We're maybe 3. We're just getting started. But the key is to carve out the time. Carve out the time. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I talk to buyers and sellers. I give the buyers to my buyers agents. The sellers, I take the best listings for myself, and the listings that were far away or that were lower in price I didn't want to deal with, I gave to my listing specialist. I'm going, here's a listing. They loved it. My buyers loved it. Did that for 20 years. What I did different was Friday morning I go golfing like I always did, but Friday afternoons I always found myself coming to the office, shuffling papers, having a cup of coffee, and I just wasn't motivated to get work done. And I'd take the weekends off, right? I had a radio show I do on Saturdays, 4 to 5, but that's about it. Maybe a couple listing appointments. But I pretty much was playing on Friday, playing on Saturday, Sunday. So my window of opportunity was Friday afternoons, 2 to 5. So I carved out 2 to 5 Friday afternoons and said, I'm not allowed to talk to buyers. I'm not allowed to talk to sellers. I'm going to talk to agents. Not just agents, I'm talking to my friends. And this is what RE/MAX and Coldwell and Keller and Berkshire Hathaway and Intero and Sotheby's, and this is what they don't see happening. We're not managers talking to a Coldwell Banker agent that we don't know from RE/MAX, trying to get them to come to RE/MAX for Coldwell. We're calling our friends. How about you, man? Did you call your friends? And guess what? Our friends will sit down and listen. They don't always join, but out of the 40 I talked to, 28 joined. That's pretty good. And I signed up like 40 people in 8 months, and it turned into hundreds and hundreds and thousands. And we're just getting started again. We have credibility. So don't think you're too late. I think there's 1,800 agents for EXP in California. There's 420,000 licensees. Again, less than half of 1%, quarter of 1%. So my advice is carve out the time, whether that's Wednesday mornings, Tuesday evening, Sunday evening, Friday afternoons like me. And when someone say, come list my $800,000 home, I resisted the temptation to call them back. I'd wait till 5:01 Friday evening and call them back. 2 to 5 was sacred. And I went and listed 40 agents and broker associates in an 8-month period. I also listed 40 homes during that month. during that 8 months. But I did something different. I didn't just gather buyers and give them to my buyer's agents. I didn't gather listings and give them away to my listing specialist and keep the good ones for myself, like a lot of big time listing agents do. I added a third component, which was I started building a company, and that's what was life changing. We would go to lunch and putt for 2 hours because we were bored. We weren't changing our lives. We weren't changing anybody's lives. We were bored. We had our systems in place. I mean, life was good, and we're just making a good living. Now we're changing lives. That 8 months, and I'm done. I didn't do it forever. I built, and now I just help people. And you're not even in my business, Mike, and I'm helping you. And I know you would do the same for me because we're linking arms, because we're shareholders in the same company, and a rising tide rises all ships. And so it's pretty cool. So carve out the time and then honor that time block. And how many people I called? 50 a day, 250 a week, 1,000 a month.
Yeah.
I called 3 to 5 every Friday. That was it. 3 to 5 agents. Occasionally, maybe twice, I called 7. And I had conversations with them and said, would you check out EXP? I'd like your opinion. I've already talked, 10 people have already talked to me about it. Did you see the webinar? Well, no, I didn't see the webinar. Okay, so A, you don't know anything. You think you know. They're my friends. Mike, you think you know. You don't know anything about it. Would you watch the webinar and actually see what it is? You don't have to do it, but would you watch the webinar and then at least you'll know what it is you're saying no to? And I signed up 66 people in the last 23 months, and it's gone totally crazy. And then I support and help them sell more real estate, teach them how to lead generate. They're in my business. I benefit from them. Teach them how to get listings, give them my best marketing stuff. How about you, Mike? Do you help your people or do you just ignore them?
Right. It's about providing. That's what you're doing. The great thing about it, what I hear you saying is that you've really prioritized making these phone calls. Like you're being disciplined enough to adhere to that because you know the type of compound effect that can have, right? I mean, you've over 60 people just by making those 1 hour or 2 hours worth of calls, calling 3 to 5 people over and over and over again. And, now you've got over 3,500 people in your revenue share group, man. So that's just like, I think people have a tendency to think, well, when you bring somebody like you on, or when you bring somebody on and they say, oh, I sell 1,000 houses a year, and somebody that sells, 10 houses a year, it's like, it's hard for them to wrap their mind around it. But the reality of it is we know what's going on, and everybody that's watching or listening is just as capable as the person doing it. Really just boils down to mindset. Yeah.
Here's what drives me crazy. Oh, well, Mike Wall's special. Brent Gove special. You know what? We rolled up our sleeves and we made the calls. We went to work. And then one day they'll say, oh, Bob's special. Karen's special. Yeah, if you work your butt off and you do the right things, you're special, all right? But this isn't, this is for anybody who decides it's for them. 23 months ago, I decided it was for me. And instead of going, wow, there's nobody in Sacramento, I went, wow, there's nobody in Sacramento. I mean, it's not perfect. We have speed bumps. Our company's not perfect. Name one that is. I'm not claiming to be perfect, but this business is changing lives. I was pumped about being a team leader at Keller Williams. If I compared the two, and I was good, I hired 177 agents my first year. I was on the magazine with Gene Frederick from Keller Williams. I got to fly to, do all the things you do as a big star team leader for Keller Williams. But one day they will be done with you and you'll move on to the regional director. Then when they're done with you, you will no longer be the regional director and you'll be back to just schlepping homes, and things will, hopefully you buy some, hopefully, but I tell you what, I was excited that I'm 10 times more excited. I love the people like you and the people watch this webinar and helping them. It is no comparison. Is it about the money? Sure. I love making money. It's great. We're going to buy a beautiful second home at Lake Tahoe. That's about it. I mean, I got nothing really else I want to do. We travel all the time, but man, we are changing lives and we're making history, and we're a part. This is like being a part of Google launching. This is like being a part of Apple at the beginning, or, some amazing Intel or FedEx when they were building out FedEx. I mean, we're, iTunes when it came on the scenes and it all become digital downloads. This is a historic moment in time. And I'm begging everyone watching this, come to New Orleans, come check out this company, EXP, come meet the founder, the president, the CEO, the COO, I'm busy. I'm getting married. People get married in New Orleans all the time. Come to New Orleans, get married there. Don't give me excuses. This is once a year. Get your bottom to New Orleans. I went as a Keller Williams agent, and my belief level went from my kneecaps to the top of my head. And in 8 months, I enrolled 40 people, changed my life, my family's life. It is amazing. And it would not have happened had I not go to EXP's annual convention in October 2 years ago as a Keller Williams agent to check them out and to literally interrogate people. And I came back and moved my company and go, well, I'll try it for 6 months. I'm going to try it for 6 months. It's either going to work or not. And man, it was incredible. So no regrets here.
Brent, do you think that EXP is the death of traditional brokerages?
I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know that, but I just, look what happened. Amazon started with books. Look at what they're into. Borders is gone. I'll be shocked if Barnes & Noble makes it this year. Maybe they will, maybe they don't. I know they're down to some stores 4 or 5 employees instead of 40. They can't even get the books. Travel agents, tens of thousands across the country. We'd all get our tickets and cruise tickets. They're all gone. Everybody orders online. Blockbuster, $6 billion company, gone in 5 years because of Netflix. Taxi cab drivers, that's a 180-year-old company, just bankrupted by Uber and Lyft. I mean, technology changes every field. It's going to change real estate. I know is this market shifting and we're correcting right now? We're crowning. Oh, baby, all those franchise owners, independents that have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month lease payments on those big buildings that are now empty. You know the truth if you're watching this. Walk around your office, they're empty. The agents work from home or the field. Everybody takes their iPhone and they want to do it from their phone. I can run my business from a hammock in the Caribbean. I can do anything I want with an iPhone. And the world's becoming digital, downloads, mobile apps, and it's cloud-based. And we're the first company in that space. And if you think, well, Redfin and Zillow they're nothing like us at all. It's obvious you have not watched the webinar. And so I saw something on YouTube. What'd you watch? Some 8-minute thing? Watch Gene Frederick. Watch one of mine. Anybody can go see it. I think the website's called itsthenewre.com. And then call back your friend. Don't call me, call your friend. Call Mike Wall, call your best friend in real estate and say, hey, sponsor me in EXP. I want to give this thing a go. And if you're my friend, call me. If no one's talked to you, call me if I know you. If someone's talked to you, please call them. Do not call me. I'm happy to chat with you. But your friend, whoever talked to you about EXP, they deserve to be your sponsor. Not me, not Mike, whoever talked to you. Okay? Is that fair? Little disclaimer.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, I know your wife's probably staring at you right now pointing to her watch and saying it's after 2 o'clock because it's after 5 here. And I won't hold you a whole heck of a lot longer. I'm so glad we were able to overcome our technology issues and we got this thing done, brother. And listen, I so appreciate your your abundance mindset and being able to share your story. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are watching this that will appreciate that as well. Listen, man, I cannot wait to connect with you in New Orleans and certainly look forward to helping to build this company with you.
All right, Mike, you're a good dude, man. I'll see you in New Orleans and everybody else. Take care.
All right, brother. Signing off.
All right, bye.
See ya. You killed